What's up guys, Jordan here from Arcade Tunes. Behind me we have my F80. We're sort of tearing through it to see what the destruction is after the fire. So, we already got a new OEM windshield installed. I'm pretty hyped about that. Dude, so nice. Originally I was gonna take a used one from a different car and it was super pitted and I decided I'll just go ahead and just grab a new one, have something nice. So, in terms of destruction under the hood, motor's been removed, the subframe has been removed, cleaned, reinstalled. It will be cleaned again probably before we progress. I have my OEM hood. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that on at some point. Body harness is good, luckily, over here. So, the fuse box was actually okay. And when I say okay, it's covered in this corrosive stuff, but if you look at all the stuff that I have that ends up being purple from the fire suppression agent, whatever you call it, if you just look at the stuff behind me, how bad it is, check this out. That's pink from a general real burnout, not from that, but just like literally everything is just covered in purple. Everything. Harmonic balancer, every under panel, it's literally like all over the place. So, we're cleaning out inside the engine bay right now. We're gonna keep tearing through it, clean, clean, clean. I want it literally as clean as possible. We literally have the wheel well liner off to get every last bit of the dirt out. The motor cleaned up pretty good. The transmission cleaned up pretty good. And we were actually able to dig into it to see what caused the problem exactly. So check out the motor after cleaning it up. So I'll also show you guys the transmission. So. It did get relatively hot though, because if you check out how brittle the gasket got, just on the edges. I think the inside will be okay. I'll take it apart and check though. So this part is still a little rubbery. If you come over here, can't really see it too great, but a lot of this is like, just falls apart on the edges. Where it got hot. Transmission mount is melted, so everything got real hot. Check out, so like this is like the valve cover and the wiring around the valve cover area. So yeah, all got pretty hot. So in terms of destruction, we pulled the head off this, but I have not touched it yet. So if you look inside this motor, there's still a lot of purple stuff. What's pretty interesting is when my mechanic went, he pulled all the spark plugs out. He said cylinder 1, 2, 3 he did, right? Go to cylinder 4, and cylinder 4 was one of the ones I retthreaded. Retthreaded cylinder 4 or 5. He goes to pull out cylinder 4 still had a spark plug in it. I assumed the spark plug blew out after I rethreaded it, and that's why the coil pack blew out. So cylinder 4 and 5, you're gonna see in a second, both have spark plugs. You'll see that cylinder 5 is actually higher looking than cylinder 4 in terms of maybe the angle, maybe not higher, the angle is different. The reasoning behind this is the key inserts that I used actually melted. So if you look at it, I'm gonna try to put a light on it so you can see it really good. It actually melted, and that's why air could go past the spark plug. The spark plug is still installed. They're still there. You loosen them, they don't come out. You tighten them, they don't come out. The aluminum insert just melted and it's just sort of stuck in there. So air was blown past the spark plug, blew the coil out. And that's where all the fuel was coming out that started the fire. I don't know how good you guys will be able to see this, but this plug is pointed way more up than that one. I think that's like the best angle you're gonna get. And then if you go in here, there's literally like a drip in this side that you can see. Let me get a light. So if you look at the bottom part right there, you can see a little bit of metal next to the thread. So it's quite interesting. I'm not sure how good you guys can see this. But if you look underneath the plug, right, that's like the exhaust side. Let's see on this one if you could. You can sort of only see so deep into there. But if you look on the top of it, you can see way deeper. Also, the head's like a little melty around the where we made the cut. So So I'm pretty sure that for me doing this, it probably hot spotted a little bit because of some high points, even though we ground down all the high points. The picture in the last video was before we ground down everything to make it have as little high points as possible. So insert's melted pretty much, and then air could get right past it and blow right out. So next up, I haven't even touched it yet. I'm gonna take a look at these pistons and see what's salvageable over here. See if the bottom end's still okay or not. I'm gonna spin the motor around and just take a look at exactly. I'm gonna bring the two questionable cylinders as high up as possible. Let's start like this. I mean, stuff's definitely significantly cakey. I mean, the piston literally looks like pretty perfect once I pull all this gunk off them. Alright, so I'm gonna now clean those cylinder walls and take a look to see if there's any like significant scoring from everything, because it was definitely a lot going on here with all the melting metal. But I'm pretty sure when everything melted, it just blew everything out of the top. I don't think there's anything that fell into here. So let's see. So in tearing this down more and more, we pulled the oil pan off to see how everything looked in the bottom. And I mean, previous to this, the oil looked great, so we just didn't feel like taking this all apart. We just pulled off one rod bearing to see how they looked after a bunch of abuse at this power level. Hopefully you can see in here pretty good. So it seems like this camera's not doing too hot at focusing. But it literally looks great. So that's the deal on the bottom end. I'm probably gonna reuse this bottom end and just throw a different cylinder head on it. I'm gonna probably take the valve springs out of that head because they're aftermarket valves and valve springs. Drop head off the back, get it ported, throw all this in that head, and then put it right back on this bottom end. So the motor still had to come out to really be clean the engine bay properly. The transmission side cover will have to come off. A lot of these plastics I have over here behind me are gonna have to get checked out, see what's good, what's not. Whatever is like potentially burnt will have to get replaced. The turbo might or might not be been sent back to precision. It didn't get that hot on the turbo area itself. It was really behind it on the firewall just because of where the fuel was coming out. Like right next to turbo, like I said, the cover for the wire loom is totally fine. So I'll sort of see what I do with that. Also, I'll have to put my stock hood back on and make a real exhaust for the car, or find someone to make a real exhaust for me. So we'll update. I'm gonna keep digging. All right, now that we saw how apart the motor is in the car, next up is how the car is once we rip all the old junk out. So there's just been a ton of plastics that are that we've broken off. Like look at all this. That's just a small amount of the plastic that was melted in this general vicinity. You can see burn marks, but it's all cleaning up really nicely. There's no permanent damage. The body harness, we unloomed all of it in the hot area, like right here. Subframe was already ripped out of the car, power washed, cleaned really good, put back in. It's still gotta be cleaned again as a roller just because the amount of dust in like every crack and crevice. It's gonna have to be cleaned like a lot of times before it's like really perfect. It's all getting there though. It's pretty good. The whole interior is completely out of the car. So is all for the heater core swap because the heater core vent melted. It's all one piece. So here's the new one we have going in. So if you look in this area, that's what the new one looks like. The old one was completely melted from the engine bay shots. You can just see it completely gone. So now that car's apart, we're in the process of cleaning everything really good, and then we're gonna start throwing it back together. Heater core will go in, the dash will go in. Cylinder head I probably won't put on the motor till early next week, I'm thinking. And then the motor will go back in the car hopefully late next week. And then we'll see time frame wise. We're doing like a little bit here and there on the car. but at the same time, I'm trying to get done pretty much as fast as possible. So I don't know how I'm gonna handle the discoloration of the paint right here, or the burn marks, what it really is. So it all does get covered by shield. So it's not like it's not like you'd ever really see any of that, but I don't know in terms of rusting or stuff like that, how good it is to leave it like this. I'll talk to maybe 1 or 2 body shop friends I have and see what they think, what their take is on that. So that's it for right now. That's the teardown, disassembly, and sort of seeing what's okay, and what's garbage. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna keep digging into this more and more. Give me a like or follow if you like this stuff. Thanks, peace.